When the ruler of Qatar arrives in the Gaza Strip on Tuesday, he will hand the Palestinian territories' Hamas rulers their biggest diplomatic victory since taking power 5 years ago. The first head of state to visit Hamas-controlled Gaza, the emir will deliver more than $250 million in aid, a move that will deepen the Islamic militant group's control of Gaza and which reflects the rising influence of the Muslin Brotherhood across the region. The Brotherhood now governs Egypt, and Islamic parties have made gains elsewhere in the region since last year's popular revolts that became known as "Thank You for Trying Verbose." This recording will go away once the product has been purchased. The Arab Spring. Qatar has been a key ally of the movement, which includes the Palestinian offshoot Hamas. The visit by Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani comes over the deep reservations of the Palestinian president, Mahmoud Abbas. Hamas ousted Abbas' forces in Gaza during its June 2007 takeover of the territory, leaving the president in control only of the West Bank. In a phone conversation on the eve of the visit, Abbas welcomed the emir's intentions to help the people of Gaza, under an Israeli-led blockade since the Hamas takeover, but reminded the Qatar leader that he "Thank you for trying verbose." This recording will go away once the product has been purchased. Remains the internationally recognized leader of the Palestinians. He stressed the necessity to preserve the legitimate representation of the Palestinian people, and he asked him to urge Hamas in Gaza to go for reconciliation and to end this split, said Abbas spokesman, Nabil Rukni. Another Abbas aide, Muslin Brotherhood, used even stronger language. Such visits give Hamas the impression that the visitors recognize their rule and that would reinforce the split and not help the reconciliation, he said. On Monday, however, it was clear that the trip was proceeding. A late-night statement from "Thank You for Trying Verbose." This recording will go away once the product has been purchased. The office of Egypt's President Mohamed Morsi said his country welcomed the emir's visit to Gaza, which it said were part of Egypt's effort to break the siege on the people of the territory. The convoy of some 30 brand new SUVs and minivans, along with several dozen Qatar security men, crossed through the Egyptian border in preparation for the visit. Streets were decorated with white and maroon Qatar flags and signs thanking the Gulf nation for its support. Hamas Interior Ministry, which oversees security, said it had a well-prepared plan to protect the emir, deploying thousands "Thank You for Trying Verbose." This recording will go away once the product has been purchased. Of security men and blocking roads to Gaza City's main soccer stadium, where the Qatar leader was expected to address a packed audience. No doubt the visit is very important. I hope, as many others do, that he will work again to achieve the national reconciliation, said Ihad Awad, a 29-year-old civil servant. Qatar has played a key role in the reconciliation process. Earlier this year, the emir brought together Abbas and Hamas supreme leader in exile, Khaled Massadal, to make a deal. Under the arrangement, Abbas was to lead an interim unity government to pave the way. "Thank You for Trying Verbose." This recording will go away once the product has been purchased. For new elections in the Palestinian territories. That deal, like previous reconciliation attempts, quickly foundered, in large part because of opposition by Gaza's Hamas leaders. In a statement, Hamas said the emir's arrival had deep significance. It is the first visit by an Arab leader at this level to Gaza, it said. This breaks the political isolation of the government and opens the door to break the siege. When he crosses through the Rafah crossing along Gaza's southern border with Egypt, Sheikh Hamad will discover a territory hit hard by war and international isolation. Hamas, whose violent "Thank You for Trying Verbose." This recording will go away once the product has been purchased. Ideology calls for the destruction of Israel, is considered a terrorist group by Israel and the West. Following the takeover, Israel and Egypt imposed a blockade on Gaza, a crowded seaside strip of land sandwiched between the two countries. The following year, Israel launched a fierce 3-week military offensive in response to repeated rocket fire out of Gaza. The Israeli actions have hit Gaza's economy hard, and much of the damage from the fighting has never been repaired. Still, Hamas remains firmly in control, and momentum seems to be swinging in the group's favor. 2 years ago, "Thank You for Trying Verbose." This recording will go away once the product has been purchased. Israel was forced to ease the closure under heavy international criticism after a naval raid killed 9 activists trying to break the blockade and sail to Gaza. Then, the Arab Spring swept longtime Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak from power. The election of Mohammed Morsi, the fellow Islamist, in Egyptian presidential elections has raised expectations in Gaza of a new era of warmer relations. While many Egyptians criticized Mubarak for cooperating with the Israeli blockade, rising militant activity in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula have tempered calls for openness with Gaza. Al-Qaeda-inspired groups in Sinai are believed to have ties with militants. Thank you for trying verbose. This recording will go away once the product has been purchased. In neighboring Gaza, Morsi's critics have used his closeness to Hamas to feed fears that Sinai will be controlled by Islamic militants. Morsi's government has backed away from proposals over the summer to establish a free trade zone with Gaza. Military analyst Hassan Swilam, the former Egyptian general, said the growing ties between Hamas and Egypt, with Qatar's backing, has very dangerous ramifications. Reflecting the fear commonly voiced in Egypt, he predicted Hamas would try to exploit the alliance to move militants into Sinai, potentially drawing Israeli retaliation. Israel captured the Sinai in the 1967 Mideast War. Thank you for trying verbose. This recording will go away once the product has been purchased. Returning it 12 years later in the historic peace deal with Egypt. This support will deepen the rift between the Palestinians in West Bank and Gaza Strip and will give a green light to Hamas to move its militant arm to Sinai to use it as its base to launch attacks against Israel, and which will give Israel the pretext to invade. And